Good morning. Today we're going to talk a little bit about why it's so hard to lose weight, and probably not the reasons you're thinking of. Some probably new information. And because we're at the beach for breakfast, we've just finished our half-hour stroll, ordered breakfast. I'll put the water behind me so you have something nice to look at. It's the same way I feel about church, right? I like to go to a church with lots of stained glass. Just in case the sermon is boring, you can still enjoy the view. All right, so today we're going to talk about some reasons why it's hard to lose weight that you might not know about. One is, I think a lot of the factory food that we're eating now and thinking that's like regular food, normal food, I think one day we will look back on that food the same way we look at the time when Coca-Cola had cocaine in it, and be like, wow, how did they not know that that was addictive? How did they not know? Why was that legal? Right, because that factory food, basically what they do, they strip everything out of it that could be considered good for you. All the vitamins, all the minerals, all the moisture, all the fiber, everything that you need to live. They remove all of that. Right? Why do they do that? Couple of reasons. One, it makes it shelf stable. So if it doesn't have any natural oils, it's not going to go rancid as quickly. It's not going to spoil as quickly without any moisture in it. Another reason is because it makes it hyper palatable. So if all that's left is something that hits your bloodstream very, very fast, something processed, something that, like I said, hits your bloodstream fast, that gets you a very fast reaction, right? So I'm not an expert on cocaine, but my understanding is that the coca leaves have actually been chewed traditionally by the people who live in the Andes for many, many years. And it's just kind of like a mild effect. It helps them with the altitude. But when you take that, you refine it, you concentrate it, you get something super addictive. And flour and sugar are exactly the same. The only difference is how we think about it. We think cocaine is bad and dangerous. Flour and sugar are safe and normal. It's just incorrect. It's exactly the same thing. Anytime you take something, you refine it down, you make it into a powder, you make it super concentrated, it hits your body really hard and your brain really hard. So you get this like this big effect, but it's very hard with your body to cope with that. So one of the reasons it's hard to lose weight is the average American is completely addicted to sugar and flour. And I'm not saying this from any sort of superiority. I was too. Completely addicted to factory foods. This is why it's so hard when you decide to lose weight to stop eating them. You are literally addicted. So first piece, a little bit of compassion for yourself, right? That part of the reason this is hard is because I have a physical addiction, a mental addiction, and an emotional addiction to a substance which was maybe not originally created, but at least now the food manufacturers know. They know exactly what they're doing, right? So you have an addiction to something which was made in order to addict you for the purpose of increasing shareholder profits. So a little bit of compassion for yourself. I wasn't told this was addictive. I now have an addiction. This is why it's so hard for me. The second piece of that is a little bit of tough love, right? Because if you had a cousin who was addicted to heroin or addicted to cocaine, you would just be like, well, they just need to stop. And bad news, right? It's the same thing for you. Now, I'm preaching about this. Do I require people to give up sugar and flour in order to lose weight? No. You can keep eating your trash and you can lose weight. We're going to change some other things first. But I think it's important that you know, because when you're trying to cut back, and you can't just eat 8 Teddy Grahams. This is why. You're biologically, mentally, emotionally addicted. The food manufacturers know what they're doing, and they don't care, right? This is kind of the dark side of capitalism. I've got one of my business hats on today, so I'm not anti-capitalism, but it's a little out of hand. They're doing it for profits, and, they're giving the people what they want. Addicts are the best customers, right? What do you want as a client? You want an addict with cash, because then you've got an ongoing stream of revenue, and they'll go without other things before they go without the thing they're addicted to, right? People steal TVs in order to buy illegal drugs. It's the same idea, right? People will tell me they can't afford to work with me, but you look at a lot of the stuff in their grocery cart and it's got no nutritional value. It's just being bought because of the addiction. So first piece, a little compassion for yourself that you have developed an addiction that nobody told you about. Second piece, a little bit of tough love. That, if you had a cousin who was addicted to illegal drugs, you'd expect them just to quit. Now that you know you're addicted to factory food, hold yourself to the same standard. And this is something that I can definitely help you with. The second piece of this, if I can remember what I was going to say. There's stuff going on. There's like a whole war going on in your digestive system. This is something that the scientists are just now beginning to understand. But depending upon what food you eat, you create an environment that is hospitable to different kinds of gut stuff. I guess bacteria. I don't even know. Google it. But if you eat a lot of factory food, a lot of flour and sugar, then you've created an environment that is hospitable to those certain kind of gut bugs. And if you try to switch what you're eating, you're not just contending with your own addiction, which again is physical, mental, emotional. You're also contending with those little gut bugs. And they've done some science that shows they have the ability to affect your hormones. They have the ability, therefore, to make you not feel good. So you start eating more fruits and vegetables, eating less nutrition-less food, and they're going to start to send you messages about how you're dying and you don't feel good. They're going to send you bad feelings. So you just have to know what that is, and over time, your gut bacteria, your gut microbes will change to the ones that live on healthy food. So speaking of food, breakfast is here. Bye.